A teacher friend of mine from a Manchester high school packed up and left Jamaica with her family early last week, a few days before staff meeting, which she had expected to attend. That left the principal scratching her head. There are two others like that I know, and there are many more from across the country, to be sure, and they are not wicked people. Good day. Before I take on teacher migration in this, the 87th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast, Desmond Richards takes on a current issue too, elections. Winnie Anderson Brown has her mind on crime. Here's a reminder for you to share and subscribe to this Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. And please make your comments on the channel. Here now is Desmond Richards.
Well, the Prime Minister has told us that his mind is not an election. No. I wonder who's the Prime Minister trying to fool with that one. The politicians and the Prime Minister, election is the tool used by political parties in Jamaica to maintain power. And therefore, election is always on the minds of the political leaders. Now, what we know that traditionally in Jamaica, the incumbent political parties has never waited until the full expiration of its 5-year term to call elections. And I don't think that this Prime Minister is going to break that tradition. So he has told us that next year will be local government elections. That will be in February. And therefore, one of the things that we are looking at is the possibility of next year being also a general election year. Now, both parties are in electioneering mood. They are working. And therefore, the Prime Minister's argument about election not on his mind is an indication that we should focus on election. We should look at what is being done as electioneers. We should look out at what the government is doing, what the opposition is doing. And the other thing that we must work towards, well, this Prime Minister made this promise and he has not fulfilled it, that we must have a fixed election date. It's time for us to stop guessing when is election. The people of Jamaica must know when is election, that the date is fixed, and we know that that date is election date. Meantime, let us keep our eyes focused on what is happening politically.
That's Desmond Richards, journalist and founder of Rebel Radio Jamaica on the internet. If we believe the new president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Leighton Johnson, and his predecessor, Sonia Harrison, the submission of fresh letters of resignation for teachers migrating is not over yet. If we believe Raymond Treasure, principal of one of the country's best high schools, Yorkcastle High, the incidence of teachers departing the classrooms is worse than he has seen it for 30 years. No one knows how many teachers have already really gone, and no one will know for a few days yet how many teachers, how many vacancies will be left unfilled after this round of migration. Frankly speaking, there really is nothing to be gained by anyone by pointing fingers over who is to blame for teachers who have left the classroom to go overseas, or for that matter, for teachers who are just changing their occupation. Frankly speaking, it counts in the classroom where others are going to be demoralized by the departure of their colleagues and added responsibilities they must take on. It counts where parents are going to chastise some administrations for their institutions not being good, quote unquote. Hence, they are leaking teachers. And it's going to count for classes left unsupervised or unmanned or having inadequate standings, not yet familiar with the needs and challenges of the curriculum or their students. Teacher migration matters. Frankly speaking, it's a big thing. And as I made the appeal in an earlier podcast, it's full time we do something about it. First, an honest conversation needs to be had among the leadership of the JTA, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, and teacher trainers all sitting at one table. There are options. Frankly speaking, we can take on the Sisyphean task of trying to stop it. Sisyphean because there's a great demand for Jamaican teachers, trained partly at the public expense. The largest teachers union in the US has just said that their schools are short of 50,000 teachers. The Jamaican state can help to provide a better compensation package for teachers. And that's not just dollars. The PNP's Damien Crawford has allowed his mind to go in that direction of other things beside raw dollars. But to be specific, I have long put on the table land which the government of Jamaica owns, land that has value to everybody. It's available if they can bring their mind to it. Then there is this option that can be pursued jointly with a better compensation package. What about making an assessment of the teacher demands here in Jamaica and abroad for the next, say, 10 years? What about having talks with the USA and the US teachers' unions and political representatives and have Jamaica train teachers for exports, deliberately train them to be sent away? Having had agreements or at least understandings, we could do more rapid training. Go back even to the internship program and have faster outturn of teachers without whittling down the high standards. Of course, you would not be able to get experience once coming out, but some things take time. Frankly speaking, on the other side of it, none of these positions will help. I told you so. Mea culpa. Or it's better this year than last year. Or it's worse this year than last year. All of those positions, singly or in concert, just takes us full circle to this same sinking position next year this time. It's time. It's overdue for an honest conversation about teacher migration, and beyond that, a conversation about the people on whom rests so much of the need, the great national need for better performance in our schools. And now to Winnie Anderson Brown.
I hear a number of persons raising an alarm that women are involved in criminality, or women are allegedly involved in criminality. What's that about? Every crime that is committed in Jamaica involves a woman. Everyone. What a bold statement. Where is the evidence? It is either a doting mother that doesn't believe in correcting her son, or a girlfriend or wife or a friend that's supporting the criminal, or it is a woman involved in the criminality herself. It's time for us to stop making something seem as if, oh, crime is a masculine thing or a male thing. Crime knows no gender. It is important for us to understand that. Crime knows no gender. And unless we are willing to accept that, it is challenging to change anything. The society is not what we think it should be, what we hope it should be. We should look at it as is if we want to correct anything. Girls are involved in all kinds of challenges, just as boys. Girls are at risk, just like boys. It's only that they serve a different purpose on the crime scene. But it is important for us to remember that crime is a people thing and it should be treated as such. I hope I never have to speak to this again. But once I heard the outcry and the surprise that women are involved in criminality, I am just giving a gentle reminder that criminality is a people thing. And if it was not supported by women, we would not have the level of crime that we have. We need the support of women to make crime so pervasive in this country.
That's Winnie Anderson Brown, educator and health facilitator. Thank you for joining us for this, the 87th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Remember to subscribe and share this podcast. It's easy. On behalf of Winnie Anderson Brown and Desmond Richards, I'm Franklin McKnight. Until then,